If you're someone who's melted their face off from dopamine overload activities like late night TikTok doom scrolling, binge watching an entire season of Invincible, or watching a single Mr. Beast video, then Ninja Gaiden 4 might be the only thing left to satiate your need for excitement. But first, a word from our sponsors. It's me. I pay to make these videos, and it would be super neato if you guys subscribe to the channel. It helps out more than you think. But anyways, back to the video. Now, I got a review code for Ninja Gaiden 4 back on October 9th, and I was able to beat the game in 3 hefty gaming sessions spanning about 28 hours in total, which I gotta say is not too bad for a hack and slash game, but people who are veterans to the Ninja Gaiden games should know that they're in for a long haul because they are notorious for having a lot of chapters to slice through. Pun intended. This one in particular having 19 chapters in total, 13 or so of which you play as the new protagonist Yakumo, and about 5 or 6 that you play as Ryu. And I'm gonna go ahead and lead with the gripes that I have with the game because I have so few. But basically, when you finally get to play as Ryu, which happens sometime around chapter 13, it's basically all flashbacks, which would be fine if they were original level designs catered to playing as Ryu, but it's basically just replaying levels and running through what you already completed as Yakumo and fighting the same boss. So besides having a different moveset, which does feel good, you're not really doing much different, and you basically just get a dab of nostalgia. And the other thing that was kind of weird that I ran into is that when you did get control of him, he felt kind of weird at first. I was like, where are all the cool abilities? Oh, maybe I have to unlock them. And it turned out that they were disabled. So I had to go in, one, discover that they were disabled in the first place, which I don't know why that would be a thing, and then I had to go in and enable them. So that just was off-putting, especially after slaying so long as Yakumo and then getting a hold of Ryu, who you think would be, you know, just as fluid, but that wasn't the case. But that's pretty much where my gripes for the game completely stop. When I tell you that this game is like suck starting a fire hose of mind-melting satisfaction, I mean it. This game is a certified banger through and through, and that's a hill that I would die on, but I'm positive I won't have to, because when people get their hands on this game, I think that's going to be a shared sentiment. This game from the very start feels so incredibly smooth, so fluid, so insanely reactive to your inputs that I wouldn't even call it the same game as its predecessors. This is easily the most polished and clean Ninja Gaiden that it's almost astronomical in difference. And dare I say, almost to the point in difference that if you loved the previous games, you might not like this one. It's literally that much better. And I say that as someone who recently beat the Ninja Gaiden Black Remaster, and I hated pretty much every second of that game. And I'm sure I'm gonna catch some heat from that statement, but it needed to be said. That game was good in its day, but it needed a facelift, and that's exactly what Ninja Gaiden 4 feels like it's delivering, in my opinion. Now, I'm not gonna talk too much on the story because I don't wanna get into spoilers, but let's be fair, people don't really play games like this for the story. But basically, the story is very cut and dry. The Dark Dragon is getting ready to resurrect, and Ryu doesn't have the power to stop him from resurrecting, but someone from the Raven Clan does, and that's basically Yakumo's mission throughout the game. But the one thing I will say about the story is that it gets a really cool climactic finish, and I really loved what they did with the end credits. It's something unique that you don't see too often, but I will say that they put a really nice bow on the ending of this game that I really can't get over. I'm still gushing about it because at the time of recording this, I actually beat the game today. But at the end of the day, I play these games for the action, and boy did they deliver, especially in the violence category, because that obliterate mechanic makes its iconic return in exceedingly bloody fashion, and it's super satisfying from the very start, and it's only exacerbated by the weapons you unlock during the journey. There are 5 weapons in total for Yakumo in the game: the dual katanas, a single thrusting sword, a staff, a Pandora's box concoction that has a ton of different uses for range and up close combat, and finally the, or if I remember the name correctly, that you unlock just before the final boss. all of which are a blast to use. I found myself switching between them often whenever some combos started feeling stale, and then those can be upgraded further using the red currency earned by completing purgatory gates and killing enemies. I also love the enemy diversity in the game. Some enemies make their return from the series, and some of which are completely new, all of which can absolutely throw hands. If you give them an inch, they will take a mile. I promise you that. But overall, nothing really made me rage too badly. There would be times where there were so many enemies on screen that they would dogpile on me and turn me into a gangbang and make me regret every decision leading me to that moment. But if it wasn't necessary to clear the room, then I would just run past them, because some of these enemies can be spongy at times, especially if you're not using the item that boosts your damage. Another fun fact that I think people will enjoy about this game is that there are 13 bosses in total, and unlike the past entries of the franchise, these are exponentially more fun to fight. Some are much harder than others, with them taking 1 or 2 tries to beat on normal difficulty, and others were kind of pushovers, but even with that in consideration, it didn't take away from how absolutely amazing it was kicking their respective asses. It did a good job of leaving me with a feeling that I might be badass, and considering I have early access to the game, I'm happy to report that I am #1 in the world for beating this particular boss, so suck on that for, I don't know, maybe a couple more days. Now, I've been going back and forth in my head about wanting to share a particular clip with you guys because it's probably the coolest thing I experienced playing this game, and it is a spoiler to the final boss of the game. So what I want to do is, if you guys don't mind watching the clip, you can go ahead and let this play out as normal. But if you don't want to see this, go ahead and skip to this time mark I have on screen right now, so that way you can experience the last boss fight on your own. But I do want to say that this clip in particular made me feel like I was living my own anime. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. That boss fight made me feel like I learned how to play the game correctly in the time that I had it in my hands. But all in all, in my 27 hours with this game, is it going to be worth the $70, or should you just wait for a sale or play it on Game Pass? And I decided that I'm going to break it down like this. If you're a casual gamer, you're going to pick this up and play it once and then never pick it up again. Probably wait for a sale or play it on Game Pass or PC Pass if you are already utilizing those services. $70 is a lot of money. It's nothing to scoff at. And if you have a backlog of games, I would just say beat those first and then hop on this. Yeah, it's the new fresh toy to play with. You might not be able to talk to your friends about it at the cafeteria lunch table or the office break room, but you know, it's a game that can absolutely be played later and still enjoyed for what it is. It isn't co-op, you know, so you're not missing out playing it with your friend who picked it up. But if you are a diehard Ninja Gaiden fan, you've played all the games and enjoyed a majority of them, Team Ninja and Platinum Games can do no wrong. You plan on playing all of the trials and beating all the bosses and playing on the hardest difficulty, then this is absolutely a day one play. I was really impressed with everything this game had to offer because I've played so many games like it in the past, and it really was an enjoyable experience. I had no problem playing this for 6 or 7 hours at a time, back-to-back days. And if I had to bet on it, I think it's going to fall somewhere in the mid 80s on the Metacritic. I think we're going to see tons of aura farming clips on TikTok and YouTube shorts. It really is just as stunning of a game to look at as it is to play. It feels like an action game from the early 2000s but all the technical enhancements of 2025. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to chat on this a little bit. This was a dope game to play through. I'd love to hear what you guys think, if you're a longtime Ninja Gaiden fan, or if this will be your first one, or if you're on the fence about picking it up. You can drop your questions down below. I love interacting with you guys and chatting, as long as the comment section stays civil. And if you guys are new to my channel, welcome, and thank you for making it this far into the video. It really does mean a lot. It feels impersonal because I'm talking to a camera, but in reality, I'm inside your living room or on your phone, and I'm chatting with you face to face, and to your face. I appreciate you watching this far. So don't forget to hit the sub button if you haven't already. It helps out the channel a ton. And that's all I got for you guys. Until the next one. Peace.